Hey guys, I'm Tar here, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to create an irresistible offer for your business, agency, or coaching program. So without further ado, let's get straight into it. All right, let's go. So, why does it matter? Let's start by talking about why this matters so much. Now, if you look at any business that's scaled consistently over time, it's almost always comes down to just two things, really. Firstly, they have an offer so compelling that their ideal client feels almost uncomfortable walking away from it. And secondly, they have the systems and process to actually deliver what they say every single time. And that's pretty much it. You can have the fanciest funnels, the best looking logos, or the biggest following online. But if your offer is weak or you can't fulfill it consistently, you'll always stay stuck. And your sales will always be unpredictable. Your clients will be frustrated. You will be frustrated, and you will never have the kind of stability that allows you to grow with confidence. So everything we're about to cover starts with that foundation: the strength of the offer and your ability to deliver results predictably is again one of the most crucial things in your agency. Get this right, and everything else becomes a whole lot easier. Whether that be running Facebook ads, closing clients, or getting referrals. Now, step one. Oh. Step one is all about being intentional about who you're speaking to. And this is where a lot of businesses get stuck because they try to build an offer that works for everyone. But the truth is, if you try to create something for everyone, you end up with something that resonates with no one. And you want to design your offer specifically for your most ideal clients. So the ones who are serious about growing, who have the budget to invest, and who have the authority to make decisions quickly. And these are the clients who value speed, who understand that investing in results is faster than trying to figure everything out themselves. And when you speak directly to the top of the market, you do two things. First, you attract those high quality buyers who are ready to take action now. And secondly, you pull in the people below them who aspire to grow, people who might not be there yet, but want to be there one day. For example, let's say you run a lead generation agency that specializes in the roofing industry, and you really want to make sure that all of your roofing clients get more book jobs. So let's just say your ideal client is roofing companies doing at least 1 million a year. So how would you talk to them in your offer? How would you call them out in your ad? You'll say something like, we help roofers above 80K a month add an extra 50 to 100 roof replacements in 90 days or less. Okay, something like that. Now, of course, you want to make sure your offer is really tailored towards your actual market and the pre-market desire, which all markets have, which we'll get to further on in the presentation. But the point I'm trying to make is when you position your offer this way, two things happen. Firstly, you attract those big companies who are already successful and are ready to grow further and scale their business. And secondly, you also get smaller roofing companies, let's say maybe doing 30 to 50K a month as opposed to the 80K a month, who want to be like the bigger players. So they'll see the ad, they'll think to themselves, I'm not there yet, but if I work with you, maybe I can get there. Okay. And that's what you really want to do. And these are the people, below your ideal client, but who are, aspirational. They see your offer as the path to get to the next level. And this is different from targeting the smaller, struggling companies who don't have any budget and aren't thinking about growing profitably. And to be honest, these are the people that never buy. Right? They're tire kickers. They'll waste your time on sales calls, and almost always they don't even have the money to invest. Right? Now, this is different from targeting the smallest, struggling companies who don't have any budget and aren't really thinking about growing. And to be honest, these people will never really buy from you anyways. So for example, if you're building an offer aimed at the bottom of the market, you're always going to target people who are uncommitted, budget conscious, slow to decide. You end up chasing them and they always question every dollar, and I can guarantee you they won't be the best fit for your business and you end up wasting time, right? You don't want to waste time with people who are tire kickers. You want to spend the most amount of time with people you can get results for, and you can actually invest in your agency, in your in the offer that you are going to deliver, right? So be clear from the start, who exactly is this offer for, and then speak directly to those people. Now, step 2 is about having a plan for the prospects who don't fully qualify for your main offer. And let's be honest, not everyone who shows an interest in your ad, who books a call, is going to meet your requirements. Maybe the ad budget is too low. Maybe they don't have enough salespeople, like setters, for example, or maybe their business isn't stable or mature enough to scale, for example. And that's okay. And this is where the downsell guarantee strategy comes in. So instead of just turning them away, you do 2 things. First, you explain clearly and respectfully why they don't qualify. So you might say something like, based on what you shared, you're currently allocating $50 a day to ads, and for us to guarantee you 90 booked appointments a month, you need to be closer to $500 a day. So right now, you wouldn't qualify, for this guarantee. And then you immediately offer them a simpler version they can say yes to. For example, however, with your current budget, here's what we can do. I can help you get 30 appointments in 90 days instead. This way, you're not burning the relationship, and you're still delivering value, still promising what you said in your ad, and you're giving them a clear next step that still feels like progress. Now, step 3. Step 3 is about making sure you have clear terms that protect your business. And this is something a lot of people avoid because they're afraid it sounds too strict or too corporate, right? But here's the reality. When you make a big promise, especially guarantees, you need to set clear expectations and boundaries. Otherwise, you open yourself up to misunderstandings, refund requests, and resentment on both sides, right? So here's how to think about it. Big promises require strict inputs. If you're promising 90 booked appointments per month, you have to specify exactly what's needed for that to happen, right? For example, a minimum daily ad spend. They need to be able to respond to leads fast. So let's say if you generate these leads go into their CRM, like Go High Level or even a spreadsheet. If they're left there and the client doesn't contact them, they're just going to go cold, and you're going to have a hard time closing those leads or getting them on the booked call, right? So you want to make sure you're really clear on, how quick the client has to respond to these leads if you're not doing it yourself. That way it sets expectations, and they know exactly, what it takes to kind of get these leads to book a call. Because in reality, a lot of people haven't dealt with digital leads before. They've only dealt with referrals, for the most part. And so, setting expectations on what you need from them is really important. And you want to spell this out before they even sign any contract. You can put it in writing and then deliver exactly what you promised. No surprises, no hidden conditions. When you do this, you build trust because the client knows what's expected of them, and you also protect yourself from having to fulfill guarantees when the client isn't holding up to the end of the deal. Also, one more thing, never use bait and switch tactics, right? If someone qualifies and meets the conditions, you should always get exactly what they saw in the ad. And that's how you build a reputation that lasts, okay? You don't want to do all these sly tricks, promise one thing, deliver another. Anything that you offer in your ad, make sure that the client can actually, purchase that service, okay? Step 4 is to use conditional refunds, not just as a safety net, but as a way to drive better results. And a lot of people think refund policies are only there to make prospects feel, comfortable buying. But actually, they're one of your biggest levers you can pull to get clients to do their part. And here's how you structure this. So you set clear, fair refund terms that are fully within the client's control. For example, leads must be called within 30 minutes. The agreed daily ad spend must be maintained every day. The client needs to share weekly feedback about lead quality. And now you're probably thinking, why would you want to do this? Well, there are a few reasons. Because when the client follows these stipulations and steps, they get better outcomes almost always. They close more deals, they make their money back faster, and everyone is a lot happier. It also means you have far fewer refund requests because the results are actually happening. So think of your refund policy as both a safety promise and a performance driver. Now, when you make it clear and fair and structured, it helps everyone win. So it makes your life easier and it makes their life easier as well. Step 5 is about making sure your offer lines up with what your market already wants. And this is where a lot of entrepreneurs, coaches, agencies waste their time. They try to convince people to care about something that they don't. Once you have a good idea, test some ads just to see the response that you get back. You don't want to spend weeks creating a program or marketing an offer only to find out no one actually wants it. So how do you go about testing this? It's very simple. Just put the idea out there. Create a few ads with the core promise, with the offer that you think will work, and see if people click on the ad, right? Monitor the click-through rate. The ads with the higher click-through rate almost always is because of the offer, right? It could also be because of the creative, but if let's say the creative are the exact same, simple text, and the only thing that changes is the market call out, you know full well that the ad with a specific market call out that performed the best is the better offer, right? Just run a small campaign with maybe like a lead magnet or send it to a booking page and see how that performs. Just compare the performance and just find out which offer is best for your market, right? And that's your way of seeing if there's a pre-existing demand before you invest your time and money. And here's an easy way to frame the offer when you're testing. Say something like this: I'll get you specific result in specific time frame or risk reversal. Okay, so you can say something like this. Oh wait, hang on. So yeah, say something like this: I'll get you 150 qualified leads in 90 days, or we keep working together for free until we do. Or you can say something like, give me 30 days and I'll fill your calendar with 20 booked appointments, or you don't pay. Or you can say, I'll guarantee you 90 qualified roof replacements in 90 days or less, or we'll work for free until we do, right? So just test out your market call out, test out your offer, and see which one performs the best. Now, once you've got an interest, right, once you kind of get a better idea of what offer performs better, then you can go out and build your program or your service out properly. Likewise, what you can do, if you're already established agency or coach, what you can do is just simply ask them on the sales call something like, let's fast forward for a second. If I can literally snap my fingers and give exactly what you want right now, what would that look like? Almost always, right, you'll get straight to the heart of their real goals and priorities without any of the fluff, right? And you'll be surprised how often and honest people are when you frame it this way. I jump on sales calls with the roofers and I ask them, if I was to click my fingers right now and you wish to have anything that you wanted, what would that be? They'd almost always say more roof replacements, right? And that's their pre-existing desire. It might not be booked appointments, it might not be leads, it might not be reviews, it will be something like roof replacements or storm damage repairs, something like this, right? And it's something you can do on your sales calls if you're taking sales calls right now. All right, that's it for today. If you take just one thing away from this, remember your business lives and dies by the strength of your offer and your ability to deliver it consistently. So focus on solving, those real problems. Be clear about who you serve, and don't be afraid to set expectations that protect both you and your clients. If you found this helpful, feel free to drop any questions in the comments below, or reach out if you want any help putting this into action. In the next video, we're going to talk about how to pick a niche that actually, has demand, so you're not wasting time trying to sell to the wrong audience. So that's it for me, and I'll see you in the next one.